It started about 2 weeks after I moved into my new apartment. Small place, older building, quiet street, not far from work. I didn't know any of the neighbors, and that's how I liked it. I was just getting settled, still unpacking, still learning where the noisy pipes were, still remembering which light switch did what. Then I found the envelope. It was in my mailbox. No stamp, no return address. Just a thick white envelope with a name written across the front in heavy black ink. But it wasn't my name. And it definitely wasn't the name of the person who lived there before me. I checked with the landlord. The name didn't match any past tenants. At first, I figured it was junk or some mistake. But the handwriting? It looked angry. Pressed down so hard it had torn the paper in spots. I opened it. Inside was a single photo. Grainy, black and white. A woman standing in front of what looked like an old house. Her back was turned. In the corner, barely visible, was a shadow. Like someone was watching her from the trees. No message, no explanation, just the photo. I tossed it in the trash. The next day, there was another envelope. Same handwriting, same lack of postage. This one had 2 photos. One of the same woman, this time closer. The other of a dark hallway, shot from low to the ground, like someone was crawling. Then the third envelope showed. This time, it was inside my apartment. It was sitting on the kitchen counter when I came home from work, right next to the 2 earlier photos I'd left there, now slightly askew, like someone had moved them. I stood in the doorway for a long time, just staring at it. My front door had still been locked. No broken windows, nothing disturbed. But someone had been inside. The envelope was the same. Heavy white paper. My name not on it, but the same unfamiliar one again. Angry black ink pressed deep into the paper. My hands were shaking as I opened it. 3 photos. The first was of the woman again. She was facing the camera now. Blurry, yes, but her face was visible, and wrong. Her eyes were dark, almost featureless, and wide open, as if she'd just seen something terrible. The second photo was of a bedroom. Not hers. Mine. My own bed. From the corner of the room, like someone had taken the shot while crouched behind the closet door. My blanket was slightly pulled back, the pillows creased. It had been taken while I was at work. The third photo, I dropped it. It was me, asleep, on the couch. The room dark except for the glow of the TV, which I'd apparently left on. My body was turned slightly, mouth open, vulnerable. I don't even remember falling asleep that night. But someone had been there, inches away, watching. I locked every window, every door, pushed furniture in front of the entrance, slept with a knife under my pillow. The next morning, I called the landlord, demanded to know if anyone else had access to my unit. He swore no one did. Said the building's been around since the 50s. Old keys floating around maybe, but nothing recent. He offered to change the locks. I said yes. I didn't care what it cost. Still, that night I didn't sleep. I just sat on the couch, lights on, knife in hand, staring at the front door. At 3:12 a.m., the doorknob moved, but the deadbolt held. I didn't make a sound. Eventually, whoever it was left. No footsteps, no other noise. In the morning, there was no envelope, but there were footprints, small ones, bare, leading from the front door to the couch and back again. I live on the 3rd floor, and there's no fire escape. That night, I packed a bag. I didn't bother with the rest. Clothes, dishes, furniture, none of it mattered. I just took what I could carry, left the key on the counter, and walked out without looking back. I stayed at a motel on the edge of town. Cheap, ugly place, but it had locks that I changed myself and no forwarding address. This happened 3 months ago, but I still check over my shoulder every time I go out. It was a Sunday night. I'd gone to a 24-hour grocery store around 11:30 p.m., something I do pretty often. I like shopping when it's quiet, when I don't have to deal with crowds or long lines. There weren't many cars in the lot, just two near the front, and a third one parked way out in the back corner. I didn't think much of it. I went inside, grabbed what I needed, snacks, drinks, a few things for the week, and checked out. I wasn't in there for more than 15 minutes. When I came back out, that car in the far corner was still there. But now someone was standing next to it. Just standing. Still. Facing the store. It was a man, tall, lanky, maybe 40s. He had on a hoodie and cargo pants. The hood was up, but I could see his face in the orange glow of the parking lot lights. He wasn't smoking. He wasn't on his phone. He wasn't doing anything. Just staring. At me. I looked away, tried to play it off like I hadn't noticed him. My car was parked about 4 spaces from the entrance. I walked quickly, keeping the keys in my hand, trying to stay calm. I was almost to my car when I heard footsteps. I turned my head slightly. He was walking toward me, still staring. I unlocked the car, got in fast, and locked the doors. He didn't stop. He walked right up to the passenger side and stood there, looking in. He didn't try the handle, just stared at me through the glass. I started the car and reversed out of the spot as fast as I could. As I drove off, I looked in the mirror and saw him still standing there, head tilted slightly to one side, like he was trying to memorize my face. I got home in 5 minutes and parked in my apartment's underground garage. I sat in the car for a few seconds, trying to shake the adrenaline. That's when I noticed something on the windshield, a yellow post-it note. I hadn't seen it when I got in. I swear it wasn't there. I peeled it off and read it under the dome light. Nice smile. I filed a police report. They took it down, asked for the store's security footage. I don't know what they found, if anything. They never got back to me. I dated Tyler for a little under a year. In the beginning, he was sweet. The kind of guy who brought you coffee without asking, remembered tiny details, said all the right things. But it didn't take long for the cracks to show. The jealousy, the mood swings, the way he always needed to know where I was, even just to feel safe. I broke up with him after he showed up at my work one night, uninvited, just to make sure I wasn't lying about staying late. I didn't raise my voice, didn't fight. I just told him it was over, and I thought that was the end of it. For the first few weeks, he texted constantly, long, rambling messages, sometimes begging, sometimes threatening. I blocked him, changed my number. He tried emailing, then started sending messages to my friends. I ignored all of it, until it stopped. It went completely quiet for about 2 months. I thought maybe he'd moved on, or gotten the message. Then one night, I came home from work, and my front door was unlocked. Nothing was taken. Nothing was broken. It was weird for real. I checked nothing was missing. I changed the locks that weekend anyway, just in case. A few days later, I noticed the smell. It was subtle at first, like something sour in the walls. I cleaned everything, took out the trash, checked the fridge. Nothing. But it kept getting stronger, more bitter. I told my landlord, and he said he'd send someone to check the vents. That night, around 3 a.m., I heard the floor creak. I live alone. I sat up in bed and listened. Dead silence. I told myself it was the building settling, until I heard another one, closer, like someone was walking. I grabbed the bat I keep under the bed and quietly crept down the hall. No lights on, but I could hear breathing. Low, coming from the hall closet. I stood there for maybe 20 seconds, frozen. Then I yanked the door open. It was empty, nothing but jackets and a vacuum. But the smell was stronger there. I barely slept that night. The next morning, I called a locksmith again, told him to recheck every window, every deadbolt. He found scratch marks on the inside of my bedroom window frame, like someone had pried it open from the outside. I needed to make sure that someone was inside of the house. I don't know why, but I thought of him. Could be him. It scared the fuck out of me. I didn't wait to find out. I moved out that same day. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. Got a new phone, deleted every account, vanished. It's been 8 months. I haven't seen Tyler, haven't heard from him.